Hey guys, so I really wanted to talk a little bit today about why I like TPs so much. And by TPs, I mean those who prefer introverted thinking and those with strong introverted thinking. That is INTP, ISTP, especially those two, and ESTP, ENTP. Why do I like them so much? Why why do I feel such a draw and such a pull to them, and what is it that they offer me as an ENFJ and as someone who is very sensitive, very strong feeler, very expressive in my emotions. I'm someone that encourages being vulnerable, encourages crying when you feel like it, all those sorts of things as an ENFJ. So I was just thinking about this because I was just hanging out with an INTP friend of mine, and I actually didn't realize she was an INTP at first. I thought she was an INTJ. I told her that I was into personality type, and she was sort of like, oh. And then I was like, oh, what do you mean? She was like, I took the tests, and it's just dumb. Like, I just don't like it. I was like, what'd you get? She goes, INTP. And it sort of like clicked to me, like, oh yeah, she totally is an INTP. I thought she was an INFJ. I definitely saw FE and TI from her. But the reason why I thought she was an INFJ wasn't that, it wasn't that I thought, oh, she's an INFJ. But I didn't like take the time to study her enough. I just thought, we're super alike. So it makes sense that she'd be an INTJ. Or an INFJ, but we are super alike, and I feel like this when I meet TPs. And but it confuses me because I see myself in them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a type that's similar to mine. But they are the people that say the thing that I'm thinking. And I'm like, I like you. You're saying what's on your mind. You're saying what I'm thinking. And I think that almost immediately with TPs, and I've gotten my heart broken by quite a few TPs. So I've been there having them be my friends. I've been there like falling for them. I've been there being hurt by them. I've been there hating them. And TPs, I feel like they are able to see right through me in a lot of ways. See what I actually think and what the root of my behavior might be. Sometimes they'll say, oh, well, you're just worried about your security, or you just are wanting to have me tell you how I feel about you or something. And I literally won't know until they said it. And that's happened quite a few times where they might prescribe the root of my behavior, and I won't even realize that that's true until they tell me. So I feel like they're able to see right through me, right? And also, for me as an ENFJ, the thing that makes me the most hurt by people is whenever I respect them and then I lose my respect for them. I don't typically feel like somebody has a power over me or like they can hurt me at my core unless they were a person that I truly respected, truly let in, and truly believed in their character. That takes me a bit to do, even though I give people the benefit of the doubt in a lot of ways. It takes me a bit before I sort of make my mind up about a person. And I think that with TPs, I respect them because they demand respect from people, and thus I am hurt even more whenever or if ever they hurt me. Oh, and here's why they can hurt me. One, because they see through me, and two, because I respect them. So they're maybe able to say things that would jab at me way more than any other type. But they also, what I appreciate about TPs is that I don't like to be over emotional. I want to feel calm, and I want my head to feel calm. And whenever I'm upset, I don't want a hug. I want someone to snap my brain back into place. Because whenever I'm upset, I feel like I'm flailing around emotionally like, I don't know what to do. Oh, my life is over. And all I want is for someone to tell me that my life is not over and that I'm being stupid. Why do I want to be told that I'm stupid? Because if I'm convinced that my life is over, I hope to God that I'm delusional. I would so much rather be delusional and to find out my life isn't over than to be reacting to something real. It seems like FI users want to be validated that what they're reacting to is real. But I would so much rather find out that I'm being crazy, because that would just be easier on me. Is if I'm crying and thinking that I'm going to be alone forever and that I'm unlovable or something, I want to be told that that is bullshit. And I already know that that sounds like bullshit whenever I'm just saying it, but I've convinced myself somehow that it's the only thing that makes sense. And so whenever I'm crying or freaking out or being emotional, it is because I am literally unable to see another point of view that makes more sense than the one I'm reacting to. And I'm actively trying to break that paradigm and figure out a way how maybe my life isn't over, maybe things don't suck, maybe there's a way out. I'm actively thinking, and it always seems like it's the TP that is able to calm me down and say something very simple that completely snaps everything into place. And what's also silly about that is, I don't know, FI users, they might look to me, be like, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. And then I feel like, don't pity me, when they're doing that. And I don't want to be pitied. I almost like when TPs sort of give me a confused look whenever I'm sad, because then I know, oh my God, this is something that I'm making up in my reality. They aren't pitying me. They think that I'm being weird. They can't figure out what I'm reacting to. I must not be reacting to reality. Because you always know that something's bad whenever something happens, and then everyone is there for you, trying to help you. And that makes me uncomfortable. When I totaled my car and my entire family was like, oh, are you okay? Then it was just a reminder, yep, I fucking totaled my car. That sucks. Now everyone feels bad for me. I don't know. So TPs are able to say such simple things that just literally can turn my life around. And I think TPs have absolutely no idea how much value that they offer me. And maybe I don't explain it enough. Or maybe the ones in my life don't understand why I would be the type of person to want that sort of love. Whenever I seem to really be craving something emotional from people. But, man, there's nothing better than someone saying something that calms you down. Man, I had an ISTP friend who, I was talking to her about some boy drama or whatever. And I'm like, what do you think Am I making this up? Like, am I crazy? Or I don't know what I said. And she just goes, I mean, I don't know. Like, I only know what you told me. So, my guess is for you to just trust yourself. And I was like, ah, she's so right. And oh my gosh, like when TPs make sense, like, I love it. When you say something that just makes sense. Because I think that since I use introverted thinking as my fourth function, that whenever I'm emotional, it is because my introverted thinking is flailing around trying to grasp at straws, like trying to make sense of the world. And whenever I can make sense of the world, I'm able to react normally. But when an ENFJ, or any FJ for that matter, is emotionally reactive, it's because we don't know what's going on. So if you think that we're being overreactive, it is because our bad introverted thinking has made a judgment about the world, and we are reacting in congruency with that assessment. And so you might think that we're reacting too much, but really we're reacting to the same exact way that we think that the situation actually is. And at least me, I'm literally praying for someone to tell me that it's really not that big of a deal. And honestly, like, the thinking inside my brain is always telling me, like, you're probably overreacting, this is probably not a big deal. And then another side of me is like, well, what is it then? Well, then what is going on? Like, this one person, for example, this guy was like giving me signals that they were into me that were like extremely, extremely strong, and then like said that they didn't, that they weren't into me like that. And in my head I was like, either I'm absolutely crazy or they are a liar. And I don't understand what is happening. And I was freaking out not because I needed someone to like me, but because I didn't know how to trust my own instincts. And I also don't know how. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, well, they were probably lying or something, because I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And it wasn't even like a personal thing. It was just like, whenever I am emotional or super sad about something, it's always because there is like conflicting messages like in my head. Like, oh, on the one hand it's this, and on the one hand it's that. And both of those don't seem plausible. And then you get your TP friend coming through being like, no, it makes complete sense. This is what happened. And they'll be like, you're not crazy for thinking all that. You're just crazy for the way you're reacting right now. Those are like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it just, I feel so understood. I sometimes feel like I don't even have to explain like what I am reacting to. They know. And TPs have been some of the only people that have been able to provide me with the emotional support that I need, that I didn't even know I needed, and with the advice that I needed that I didn't even know I needed. Like, I was talking about something like completely unrelated, and then my INTP friend who I was just with was like, hey, look at me. And I was like, huh? And I like didn't want to like look at her in the eye because I realized I wasn't looking at anyone in the eye. And then she was like, you're beautiful and you're worthy. It's gonna be okay. Or like she said something like that. And I like almost teared up, and I was like, okay. And then she was like, no. She's like, you're not looking at me, just look at me. And I was not expecting that. And I think that that's another thing that I like about TPs, is that they are not gushy or like warm, but whenever they do something, it's because they think that the person needs it, or they think that it matters. And so that's really cool. And also, like, she must have been reacting to, like, oh, Megan thinks blah blah blah. Like, she must have, like, picked up on something that I might have been thinking subconsciously, because in my mind I wasn't even, like, I absolutely was not fishing for compliments. Like, I was just talking about my life in a self-deprecating way. Like, I didn't even pick up on, like, any holes that I had in my perception. But it always, TPs, they just make me feel understood, and they also, they offer that mental calmness that I crave. So yeah, I need more of them in my life, and I really hope that one day I can find someone who doesn't think that I'm too much and wants to handle me and wants to offer that sort of understanding and yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you're a TP and you are like, I like ENFJs, but I don't understand why they would like me, which I've gotten a couple comments like that, let me know why that is. I think INTPs and ISTPs might not understand why an ENFJ would like them, and so I want to explain. I hope that this video could help in explaining why they're so special to me, and so special, and like the trait that you have nobody else has, and that's the trait that I feel like I need. And I think that a lot of times INTPs and ISTPs especially could lend them or make themselves believe that maybe if they like someone that is more emotionally expressive, then maybe that they aren't enough because they can't match that. But like, know that if you like someone like that, then they probably don't want another equal in that way. Like, I know I don't want anyone that's super emotional, because that would be absolutely insane to work with. I dated an ENFP and it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, do not recommend. Too many emotions. Ugh, like, it's just too much with two people. But anyway, like, if you have a relationship like that, you can make it work. Like, that's fine. Like, we're all different. I'll link the video below, like, my compatibility video about how I don't think that I think it depends on what you're looking for in that situation. But yeah, TPs, just, I hope that you know that you do have a lot to offer for an ENFJ, or for anyone that you might be interested in as a friend or as more than a friend. So yeah, thank you for watching this video and have a lovely evening.